look at this LED pattern on my screen. This is no longer a single row of LEDs. In fact, now we have an LED matrix. And on top of that, we have this very nice, very, let's say, engaging, two-dimensional pattern that is being drawn. You can see that it looks like these LEDs are turning on from the right side and shifting towards the left side. Um, in fact, we can change the pattern. Notice now, for example, in the same LED, matrix, I'm showing a different pattern. It looks like the LEDs are going in a different direction. In fact, for those of you who dabble with, robotics or say Arduino, you might have seen LED matrices and you see, real hardware can be programmed to do this kind of thing. So this is very interesting, very close to reality. Let's look at one more pattern. Now look at this pattern. This is clearly the inversion, the XOR pattern. You notice sometimes the inner portion lights up, sometimes the outer portion light up. So really a lot of possibilities, using the ideas that we have been developing. Basically, we are just extending those ideas to a two-dimensional grid, and you can clearly see a bunch of possibilities come up, right? So in this video, we'll see how we can create this two-dimensional grid and say a few of these dynamic patterns. Clearly, we are enhancing the bit by bit project from the YByte Python curriculum available at www.ybyte.in. So let's first, understand what is it that we need to do to go from, let's say, one row of LEDs to this matrix that we have. Clearly we need to create a matrix of squares, not just a single row. So that obviously has to happen. Then we need to handle the logic for each row, to be displaying the pattern that we have for that particular row. Now, in fact, you can think about it. We already have the code to handle one row, so we really can leverage that infrastructure to kind of extend this to the, let's say, multiple rows. Most importantly, most important, and finally, we need to also maintain the state of the matrix, that is the patterns for each of the rows. Remember, previously we had just one number called pattern, and that's what was being displayed. That would get updated as the program would run. But now we need a pattern for every row, which means that we need to maintain the entire state as a list. So what we'll do is to create a list called pattern vector, which will hold the state for every row of the matrix. And we'll see how we can make this, dynamic, how we can update it as the program runs. In fact, like I said, we already have the infrastructure to light up, let's say, one row of LED. And we have this infrastructure to sort of, create the pattern, update the pattern. So all we need to do really is that in between these two, we need to create one more for loop. So that's kind of like on top of this inner loop. So there's going to be one more for loop, which is going to take essentially all the rows of the matrix and render them one by one. So the pattern will be formed, pattern will be updated. We'll render this rows one by one. But like I said, we need to have now a storage, store the, let's say, the entire state of the matrix, of the LED matrix. So what we will do is that we replace pattern with a pattern vector. This will be like an 8 elements because I've got 8 rows over here. So pattern vector 0 will represent, for example, this row. Pattern vector 1 will be this row. Pattern vector 6 will be this row. Pattern vector 7 will be, this row. This list will be updated as the program runs, and this will keep track of the entire state of the board. And beyond this, as you realize, everything will work exactly like it used to work. We just have to build a little bit carefully on what we already have. So I get back to my code, which is, notice here, doing one row of LEDs. Now I've intentionally removed all the printing, the pattern, the number, and so on, because now when you have a matrix, it's hard to display all the numbers. So I've just removed all of that. That part of code is here. So you notice now the structure of the code is quite, clear. Basically, if I, let's say, collapse this for loop as well. So, what's going on here is quite interesting to look at. Basically, what I do is, I run this outer loop, which is a count loop. I figure out what is the style, I update the pattern, and inside this inner loop, I go and render the pattern. And that's how this thing basically works, right? But like I said, now if I want to do multiple rows, I'm going to create another for loop here. So I'm just going to say, well, for, let's say, pattern for, let's say, in range, let's say 8. Now why 8? Because, well, look, my matrix here will have 8 rows. So I will, we'll come to this part later on. So I will basically do this for every row. First thing I do is to read out the pattern for that particular row, and that will come from this pattern vector, which we are yet to define. But anyway, I will basically read out this pattern. Now notice, depending on the style, the pattern will be changed. For example, here, this particular 0 is shifting by 2, left shift by 2. This one here is right shift by 2, and so on and so forth. 2 is, for example, inversion. 3 is, I think 3 is basically So three is, yeah, an or within a one, and so on and so forth, right? So all these patterns are defined. We can let them be because the pattern now will be, the logic remains the same, but this pattern will be for a particular row. So this should be pattern vector. Now, very, very importantly, I will display this over here. But remember, now every row will kind of stack up vertically, whereas over here the y position of the LEDs is 0. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to say, well, this should be times, for example, 40. So here again, I'm going to make it say times 40. Now, once the, let's say, so let me just collapse this again so it's easier to understand. So basically, this inner for loop will render the, the pattern. I will, having done this, I would want to basically make sure that my, so before I go to the next row, I would want to make sure that, look, this happened for row number one. Before I move on, I will update my pattern vector. So pattern, pattern, say vector, uh, is equal to pattern. Now, in case, pattern. Now, this may be a little bit confusing, but think about it. I basically read out the pattern from the initial position of that particular row. I change the pattern here. I display it in the LED, and then I store the pattern here for that particular row. So basically, as I run this for every row, the pattern will be, updated. Now, I have to be really, really careful over here. You notice that I want the, each of the rows to appear immediately at once, so that the entire matrix comes in, which means that this time dot sleep cannot be inside for because, if I do it for inside for I'll see one row coming, then a half second gap, then the next row, and so on and so forth. So I'll bring this outside. In fact, this entire, I want the entire matrix to appear, let's say, suddenly, without tracer refresh. So I'll just go and say ts dot say tracer, say 0 at the outermost point. So basically, like, count increments, I just go and render the entire matrix at once. Depending on the pattern it is, I save the pattern and I get out. Like I said, this time dot sleep is no longer a part of for loop. Just have to be a little bit careful about that so that the entire matrix renders correctly. Of course, now the most important thing, what is the pattern vector? Well, that depends on the style we are at. So style we are on. So for example, style of 0, I can say, well, look, let me set the pattern, let's say, vector to, say, for example, so I can start from, let's say, something similar to what I have there. So 0b 00000011. I can maintain that for the lower two rows, 0b 00000011. Then, the next two, let's say, columns. So I say 0b 00001100. Um, 0b00001100. Now, obviously, there's no compulsion. You must use this. You can use your own pattern. You can experiment. It's actually quite fun to look at all these patterns. So 00110000, and again say 0b00110000, and finally for the top two rows I just make it 0b110000, 00, and here 0b11000000. So you notice that basically I've just given an initial value for every row in the, in the matrix, and thereafter the logic just kind of follows from here. So of course, before running this, I'm going to set the style to 0. When I run this piece of code, you notice my pattern is in fact working exactly as I had planned it to, right? Really amazing how the entire infrastructure just comes together because we already had the pattern to, the mechanism to display one row. All it took is just a little bit of code and out of for loop to handle this, right? Like I said, we have to be just a little bit careful about where this time dot sleep is coming. I want to make sure the entire matrix comes at once. That's why it is not a part of this inner loop. I mean, this loop, right? It's done outside because the entire matrix comes out at once. So now this being set, in fact, we are all set. We can try some other patterns. For example, I can go and say, well, look, let me try to do style of 1. Let me just invert this whole thing exactly as we were doing, let's say, basically I can do this. Now I can just, so I can define it this way. I can in fact just do a slight, pattern vector is equal to, let's say, I can just, I think this should be fine, right? So if I invert this, Let's set the style to 1. When I run this piece of code, basically the whole pattern, the whole, let's say, rendering changes. It's now coming from right to left. Pretty cool. I didn't have to type the whole thing again. Let's try a few more patterns. Let's say I try style of 2. Style of 2 is actually inversion. So let me just start with, let's say, this. If I did, for example, say, let's say I want to make that squarish pattern 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. Here again, let's say first two rows is 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. Next two rows I want to keep, let's say, 4 squares empty in the middle. Say 1 1 1 1 0 0 and say 1 1. Again, this is just experimental. You can really do anything, but I'm just going to do this. So 1 1. Again, this row also I'm going to do 1 1, say 1 0 0 and 1 1. And then for the last two rows, I'm just going to fill it up, right? So 1 1 1 1 1 1. And again, this should be 1 1 1 1 1 1. So that is 8 ones, I hope. Yes, it is 8 ones, right? Of course, I'm going to set the style to, let's say, 2. Now, when I run this piece of code, so now when I run this piece of code, I get my, favorite exploding pattern, let's say. Let's just try one more style here so that, for the sake of completion. But, the idea is really set. We are just doing whatever we were doing for one row. Now we are doing for multiple rows using that for. So I'm going to set my style to 3. And, basically for every row, I want to set that pattern to start with. So I can just use list comprehension. So pattern vector is, for example, pattern, say for in range, say 8, right? So that's going to give me 0 to 7, that same pattern, right? Same pattern repeated. Now, if you notice, I get a pattern where, the LED matrix forms from right to left, and again to, let's say, this, right? Now, obviously, these are just few of the, many, many, many possibilities that exist. I urge you to try your own patterns, your own ideas, because that will be fun. In fact, we are going to go further with this enhancement, and we're going to make this LED matrix very colorful and make it change color as time goes. That is another dimension of excitement. We'll look at it in a subsequent video. I hope you found this interesting. At YByte, we always make programming fun by building things that are cool to build, that are exciting, and through which we learn Python programming in a fun manner. Look at our website. We learn Python programming through such fun activities. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.